I remember the night my mother died as if it were yesterday, even though it was over 20 years ago. The hospital light seemed too bright, the antiseptic smell too harsh. I was 7, clutching her hand as she struggled to breathe, her eyes meeting mine with a silent plea. Dad was there, silent and stoic, but his grip on my shoulder was all the reassurance I needed. That night, our world changed forever. Growing up without Mom was a slow, painful process. Dad tried his best, but the house felt empty, the laughter sparse. He worked long hours, and I spent most of my time at school or with friends, trying to fill the void left by her absence. But no one could replace her. Her absence was a constant shadow, lingering in every corner of our home. When I was 16, Dad met Lisa. She was vibrant, with a laugh that could light up a room and a presence that seemed to fill the empty spaces in our lives. She had 2 kids, Emma and Jake, whom I was expected to accept and love as my own. At first, it felt like a breath of fresh air. Maybe this new family could mend the broken pieces of our lives. But Lisa was different from Mom. Where Mom was gentle and nurturing, Lisa was demanding and controlling. She insisted that Emma and Jake were the center of our universe, that Dad's attention should be primarily on them. I felt like an outsider in my own home, a visitor in the life I once knew. One evening, Lisa sat me down in the living room, her eyes cold and calculating. "You need to erase your mother from your life," she said firmly. "She's not part of our family anymore. You need to accept us fully, or we'll have to reconsider your place here." I was stunned. Erase her? How can you ask me to forget my own mother? She sighed, frustration evident in her voice. "It's not about forgetting. It's about moving forward. Mom died, and it's time for you to move on too." I felt a surge of anger and sadness. Move on? How can you move on when I'm still grieving? Dad walked in, sensing the tension. "Lisa, that's enough." But Lisa wasn't done. "Dad, you need to understand that your son needs to accept this new family. He can't keep living in the past." I looked at Dad, searching his face for any sign of support, but he was silent, his eyes downcast. It was as if he was choosing Lisa's side without a word. Days turned into weeks, and the tension at home grew unbearable. Lisa's demands became more frequent, her expectations higher. Emma and Jake were given preferential treatment, their needs always prioritized over mine. I tried to speak to Dad, to explain how it was affecting me, but he always dismissed my feelings, telling me I was being selfish. One night, I decided I couldn't take it anymore. I packed a bag and left the house, not knowing where I was going, but needing to escape the suffocating environment. I stayed with friends for a while, trying to find my own path, but the pain of being rejected by my own family weighed heavily on me. A few months later, Dad called me. His voice was tired, strained. "Can we talk?" he asked. I agreed, meeting him at our old family home. The house felt different now, filled with Lisa's presence. We sat in the kitchen, the place where so many memories of Mom lingered. "Dad, why did you kick me out? Why didn't you stand up for me when Lisa was trying to erase Mom from my life?" I demanded, tears welling up in my eyes. He sighed deeply, running a hand through his hair. "I didn't want to lose you too. Lisa and I were building something new, and I thought this was best for everyone. But at what cost? You forced me to choose between my mother and your new family. How is that fair?" Dad looked away, his silence speaking volumes. I thought I was doing the right thing. Maybe I was wrong. We sat in silence for a long time, the weight of our shared loss hanging between us. I wanted to reach out, to reconnect, but the wounds were still fresh, the trust broken. As I was about to leave, Dad spoke again. "I miss her too, you know, every day. Maybe we can find a way to move forward together." I nodded, unsure if I could ever fully forgive him, but willing to try. As I walked out of the house that night, I felt a glimmer of hope, a small step towards healing. But life has a way of throwing unexpected twists when you least expect them. A few weeks after our conversation, I received a letter in the mail. It was from an attorney I had never heard of, informing me that my mother had left a significant inheritance for me. Shocked, I called Dad immediately. "He never mentioned anything about this," I said, my voice trembling. Dad sighed. "I wanted to tell you, but things have been so chaotic with Lisa and the new family." I decided to go to the lawyer's office, curious and a bit anxious about what this could mean. When I arrived, I was greeted by a stern-looking woman who led me into her office. She explained that my mother had kept the inheritance a secret, wanting to ensure I was taken care of even after her death. It was a substantial amount, enough to provide financial security and perhaps even mend some of the broken pieces in our lives. As I left the lawyer's office, I felt a mix of emotions: relief, gratitude, and a lingering sense of betrayal. I decided to confront Dad again, this time with the news of the inheritance. When I shared it with him, his reaction was unexpected. He looked genuinely surprised, almost relieved. "I had no idea she left you anything," he admitted. "I wish I could have done more to support you." We began to talk more, the inheritance serving as a bridge to rebuild our strained relationship. I started to see a different side of Dad, one that was vulnerable and regretful. Slowly, we began to reconnect, sharing memories of Mom and finding common ground despite the years of silence. But just as things were starting to improve, Lisa introduced another twist. She announced that she was pregnant again, expecting her third child. The news hit me hard. I feared that history was about to repeat itself, that Lisa would again try to push me out in favor of her expanding family. I confronted her, expressing my concerns about how her actions had previously affected me and my relationship with Dad. To my surprise, Lisa was receptive. She revealed that she had been dealing with her own struggles, feeling insecure about her place in the family and fearing that the past would repeat itself. She confessed that her demands to erase Mom from my life were rooted in her own pain and confusion, not malice. This revelation changed everything. I realized that Lisa wasn't the villain I had painted her to be, but rather a person grappling with her own grief and fear of abandonment. We began to communicate more openly, sharing our feelings and supporting each other through the challenges of blending our families. Dad, witnessing this newfound understanding between us, became more involved in our lives. He apologized for his earlier decisions, acknowledging that he had made mistakes in trying to balance his past and present. Together, we started to create a new dynamic, one that honored the memory of my mother while embracing the new members of our family. The unpredictable twist came when I discovered a box of letters hidden in the attic, letters my mother had written but never sent. They were filled with love, hope, and reflections on her life, including her thoughts about my father and the possibility of him finding happiness again. Reading those letters brought a deeper understanding of her feelings and the complexities of our family history. One letter, in particular, stood out. It spoke of her fears that I might struggle without her and her hopes that my father would find someone who could help heal the wounds of our loss. It was a bittersweet revelation, knowing that my mother had wanted the best for us, even in her absence. Armed with this newfound insight, I approached Dad and Lisa with a proposal to honor my mother's memory together. We decided to create a family tradition in her name, something that would bring us closer and ensure that her legacy lived on in our lives. We organized annual gatherings, shared stories about her, and supported each other through the ups and downs of life. As time went on, our family bond grew stronger, forged through understanding, forgiveness, and shared love. The inheritance my mother left me became a symbol of her lasting presence, a reminder that even in death, she was still a part of our lives. Dad and I rebuilt our relationship, finding common ground and mutual respect, while Lisa and I developed a unique friendship based on our shared experiences and vulnerabilities. But the true unpredictability of our story lay in the unexpected challenges we still faced. Just when we thought we had found a balance, another surprise emerged. Emma and Jake, who had always looked up to me as a sibling, began to show signs of their own struggles. They were dealing with issues at school and within their own circles, feeling the pressure of being part of a blended family. Instead of letting these challenges drive us apart, we came together as a family, supporting each other through the tough times. We sought counseling, attended workshops on family dynamics, and made a conscious effort to communicate openly and honestly. Each obstacle we overcame strengthened our bond, proving that our love and commitment to each other could withstand any storm. Years passed, and I found myself reflecting on the journey we had taken. From the heartbreaking loss of my mother to the tumultuous blending of our new family, we had grown and evolved in ways I never could have imagined. The pain of being kicked out by Dad had transformed into a deeper understanding and appreciation for the complexities of family and love. One chilly winter evening, as I sat by the fireplace with Dad, Lisa, Emma, and Jake, I realized that our story was far from over. Life had a way of presenting new challenges and opportunities for growth, but our family had proven that we could face anything together. The unpredictable ending I had feared had instead led to a new beginning, filled with hope, resilience, and an unbreakable bond. In that moment, I understood that losing my mother had been the catalyst for everything that followed. It had forced us to confront our grief, our fears, and our capacity for forgiveness. It had brought us closer together, teaching us that family isn't just about blood relations, but about the love and support we give each other through the darkest of times. As the fire crackled and the room was filled with laughter and warmth, I felt a profound sense of peace. Our journey had been fraught with pain and conflict, but it had also been a testament to the strength of the human spirit and the enduring power of love. And as I looked around at my family, I knew that no matter what the future held, we would face it together, united by the memories of the past and the hope for the days to come.